Black women in politics, where the work continues. Unifying Black women's voices on political issues surrounding voting blocks in the U.S. Black Women United. I'm your host, Sherry Danny. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Generation and ensuring they have. We're diving deep into a powerful and necessary topic: Black women in politics, where the work continues. Unifying Black women's voices on political issues surrounding voting blocs in the US and abroad. And atheist Black non-believers. Black women have always been at the forefront of change, from the civil rights movement to contemporary political landscapes. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to The Awakening, Black Women United. I'm your host, Sherry Danny. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Today, we're diving deep into a powerful and necessary topic: Black women in politics.
Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to come in and pile into the United States of America, everybody coming in and totally. Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to come in. Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to come in and pile into the United States of America, everybody coming in and totally unqualified people with perhaps unqualified children. This wasn't meant for that. This was meant, when it was originally done, for the children of slaves. And that was a very good and noble thing to do. And I'm in favor of that 100%. But it wasn't meant for the entire world to. That would be. I just think that we'll end up winning that court in the Supreme. Been going on. We're at that level. We're the only country in the world that does it. The world that does it. It's crazy.
Means that the Constitution doesn't matter.
Clear that people born in the U.S. citizens, regardless of the citizenship. immigrants get citizenship.
The quote, illegal immigrant was a concept that didn't emerge.
That's a good one. Birthright.
President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship has battle over immigration policy.
If we lose, it means that the Constitution doesn't matter.
I was having some technical difficulties. It's been real windy here lately, and my internet was coming in and out.
Most legal scholars say the meaning of the 14th Amendment is very clear, that people born in the U.S. are citizens regardless of the citizenship of their parents. But that doesn't mean the Trump administration is fighting a losing battle. We'll break down the legal case surrounding birthright citizenship and the consequences of Trump's executive action. Birthright citizenship was first established in 1868 by the 14th Amendment to recognize Black Americans as citizens after the Civil War. This phrase was included in the Citizenship Clause to exclude people who were essentially immune from local law and therefore were not subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S.
Those three groups were children born to foreign diplomats who had diplomatic immunity, children born to Native Americans living on tribal lands because they were immune from state and local laws, and children born to an occupying army that had invaded the country.
This particular phrase has become the focal point of the Trump administration's legal case. Their argument is that children born to immigrants living in the U.S. illegally should also be excluded from birthright citizenship.
If you're not here permanently, if you're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and don't plan to be, why would we make those people's children American citizens permanently?
For an administration that is taking a very hard line on undocumented immigrants and saying we're going to remove millions of people, to turn around and say that their children are not subject to United States jurisdiction is entirely contradictory.
New Jersey Attorney General Matt Platkin is leading one of several lawsuits. Most legal scholars.
That's a good one. Birthright.
President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship has kicked off an unprecedented legal battle over immigration policy.
If we lose, it means that the Constitution doesn't matter.
Most legal scholars say the meaning of the 14th Amendment is very clear, that people born in the U.S. are citizens regardless of the citizenship of their parents.
So that's the issue. That's where we are today. That the 14th Amendment is being challenged, which has everything to do with me being an American descendant of U.S. enslavement. And so this has prompted a lot of protest at the southern border in some major U.S. cities. And so let's go through some of the clips.
Look,
and let's look at what's been going on. It's been some pretty fiery protests going on in Los Angeles, and America is just in a uproar. Yes, it looks that way. It looks like we are in an uproar over illegal immigration. Well, seems to me that plenty of presidents before Donald Trump failed. But my question is, should ADOS, American descendants of slaves, be involved in these protests, or should we fall back? I say fall back.
I've been a black man a long time. Hell, I even named my name a Black Man Thoughts. We got people on this app talking about what's going on, why y'all not helping us? This could happen to you. To all the people that's non-black that's complaining about Trump with this deportation thing, we've been dealing with racial profiling. We've been dealing with... Did anybody see the old videos of the civil rights era with the water hoses and German shepherds? We've been dealing with this. Not one time have I seen the Latino family or all these different people. Not one time I ever seen those people say, yeah, we're going to stick up and help fight for our black brothers and sisters. Never seen a video from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s to the 2000s. I never seen a video where they say, okay, Mexicans for blacks or Latinos for blacks. I never seen the video. So why are y'all talking to us right now? I don't get it. Black Man Thoughts 2.0, and I'm out. Peace.
I see a lot of people running in the ICE raids. And I want to share with you guys what you told us when ethnic Black Americans were struggling with the police. I want to share the same things that you told us. Please comply. Please follow the officer's instructions. You should not run at all. You should let justice and you should let the legal system handle it. The legal system will take care of that. So it's very important that you comply and do what the officers tell you to do. There should be no running.
So I decided to keep my daughter home because she had a little bit of a fever. So I go across the street to Walgreens to grab her some Tylenol. I see 3 undercover cops. They look like undercover cops to me, but I didn't think none of it. So I left Walgreens. I went to 7-Eleven real quick to grab me a French vanilla Frappuccino real quick. So I go in there. I see 4 more of these motherfuckers, right? So I asked one of them. I was like, hey, are y'all undercover cops? Because I just seen like a couple of y'all up the street at Walgreens. And he was like, something like that. He was like, we're here from out of town working. He was like, but have a great day. You could tell he wasn't trying to tell me too much. But I was being nosy as hell at this point. So tell me why I get home. My neighbors are immigrants, right? They packing their shit up. They've been packing their shit up for the last 3 days. They said that they're moving to the Southlands area because they are tired of seeing these Venezuelans over here, lurking around late at night. And I don't see them over here. But when I do my comedy shows and I get home late at night, that's when I be seeing these motherfuckers lurking around. So I be having my taser, my pepper spray on that, and I hurry up and I run to the house because my son be watching my daughter for me when I be doing my shows. So it hit me. It hit me when I went to take out the trash and I seen them damn Venezuelans packing their shit up and leaving. It hit me like ICE is really fucking here. ICE is really here in Denver, Colorado to do these raids. If you have kids that are born in America and you are undocumented and your kids are U.S. citizens and they born here, they are not considered U.S. citizens. Like everybody getting sit the fuck back at this point. And so it makes me nervous for the people that I know that are hard workers that are genuinely here trying to get their paperwork done and trying to get their paperwork.
Now that's my question, because there's a lady, a white woman, who was hauled out of the Capitol building the other day because Tennessee, the Capitol building in the state of Tennessee, has just instituted a new immigration bill. So she is married to a undocumented person. I don't know what nation he's from. My question is, she said he's been in the United States 30 years. In 30 years, he didn't attempt to become a citizen. In 30 years, he didn't try to become a citizen. That's a long time to be here illegally. So let's look at some live footage and see what's going on today, because this weekend was a hot one. Let me tell you, especially in Arizona and California. Let's see if this one has any. Does it have any sound? Oh, I don't know. I don't think this one has any sound. Okay.
Filing. We've been dealing with.
That is true, brother. We've been dealing with it. That one doesn't have any sound. Let's see what's going on. I had some pretty good ones, but I guess I misplaced them somewhere. Okay, wait a minute. I know I just had some. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I'm just gonna have to go to it. Okay, let's look at this one.
Chaos and outrage today in downtown LA with thousands of people protesting President Trump's threat of mass deportation. The crowds blocked the freeways, the city streets. They caused huge traffic delays, and they prompted the LAPD to issue a citywide tactical alert. Carlos Aceto is live for us in downtown LA tonight, where things are a little bit calmer. Carlos?
That's right, Rick. It is much calmer, much quieter right now. But as you know, these demonstrations lasted pretty much all day. The protesters here moved in, shutting down the 101 freeway, shutting it down at least a couple of times. Let's watch. Officers in riot gear surrounded the 101 freeway through downtown LA Sunday evening as the LAPD issued a citywide tactical alert. Small scuffles broke out between protesters and police as tensions escalated. Police issued dispersal orders as demonstrators marched onto the freeway, forcing several closures throughout the day. CHP officers doing everything they could to clear the lanes and keep everyone safe and off the freeway. Earlier, thousands of protesters rallied against President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration and mass deportations.
We've seen it already a bunch of times all over, so he doesn't care. We need to be treated like humans. And, we're being treated inhumanely.
Since his first day back in office, Trump has signed a flurry of executive orders authorizing greater military force at the U.S.-Mexico border. The administration says it's going after violent criminal immigrants who are in the country illegally. But with nearly 1,000 deportations daily, many fear no one is safe.
There are so many people out there that...
So we do know that Trump has asked his border czar and ICE, and he has several other agencies working with him, such as DEA, ATFE, and they have been asked to step up their numbers from several hundred a day to, he said, 1,200 to 1,500 deportations a day.
They have came here illegally, but it's home. We're the ones that, our parents are the ones that sacrificed everything for us to come here. And we're more than grateful for them.
I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm all mixed emotions because they're doing all this to people who don't deserve it.
And the 101 freeway is back open tonight, as are most surface streets around the downtown LA area. No word on any arrests. We're live tonight in downtown LA. Carlos.
Of people protest, thousands of people.
Now, this is the crazy part about all of this for me, is because they tell me that California is still having wildfires. Seriously? In the midst of all of this?
If people care, they pay.
Is anybody happy with how 2025 has come in? Everybody I saw said, oh, goodbye 2024. We're happy to see you gone. Well, 2025 has also come in with a bang. So we had Black women saying that they were decentering Black men. They were no longer going to have sex, dates, or anything with Black men. Even though because of how Black men voted, even though Black men voted 88% for the candidate that they wanted to vote for, or the candidate that the 92% voted for. Okay, Donald Trump wins. Latinos voted against their own self-interest. He never lied to them. He never said that he wasn't going to conduct mass deportations. It would seem to me that actually Black American women should have voted for Trump for mass deportation, and that Latinos should have voted for Harris, who was anti mass deportation. And the reason why I say Black women should have voted for Trump for mass deportation is because Trump was correct. Our greatest competition is unskilled, cheap labor.
Attention and they see how many people are not okay with what they're doing right now, I would hope so. So I just really hope it makes a difference.
This was the scene for most of the evening in National City. Droves of people took over much of Highland Avenue, protesting recent immigration policies and actions. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Friday evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I am Wale Aliyu. From the beginning of the demonstration, we were there. ABC 10 News reporter Ava Kirshner watched as the demonstration evolved and took on different forms throughout the night.
The colors red, white, and green have taken over Highland Avenue here in National City in protest to the increase of immigration and customs enforcement across the county. They tell me they want to turn their fear into action and make their voices heard. A peaceful protest quickly growing in size. Highland Avenue being swarmed with people.
I see a lot of youth, which I'm happy to see here, that are out here supporting. I see a lot of families with kids. I see a lot of older people as well.
Most spreading their message proudly.
We're here to speak for the people who cannot speak, and we're here to stand up for the right.
But some breaking out into a fight on Highland Avenue and East 14th Street. Demonstrations like these have been ramping up since President Trump's federal immigration policy threatened to deport undocumented immigrants living in the United States. Trump's border czar saying,
Now, I agree with some other YouTube content creators that I saw that said, and even Fox News said, if you want to stay in the country, why are you waving another country's flag? That really doesn't make any sense. And we do have one report of the United States flag being burned by Mexican immigrants. So it just baffles the mind. Do I particularly like to see all of this? No. Is it a painful situation? In some ways, yes. Well, let me say this. It's definitely a destabilizing situation. I fought President Reagan. I remember being a child. I remember watching illegal immigrants coming in from Mexico through the Rio Grande River. In the 80s, a lot of upper middle income white people hired illegal Mexicans at first. Now, we've got a lot of other illegals from other countries. It's not just Mexico. There are African nations, Caribbean nations, Asian nations. Saturday, I believe 20 Chinese illegals were also detained and possibly deported. But anyway, in the 80s, it was mostly Mexicans. You knew, the United States knew that this was going on this whole time. And now it is just at critical mass. And the system can't handle it. And Black Chicago has pushed back. And it was bus after bus load after bus load coming into Chicago, New York, Denver. And some have tried to blame Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. What did you expect him to do? If President Biden wouldn't help him, Vice President Harris wouldn't help him stop the floodgates that are in his state, what was he supposed to do? Except for send these people and give you some of the situation. Let you carry some of the burden for the Medicare, the Medicaid, the food stamps. The amount of money that illegal immigrants, mainly from South America, Venezuela, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, was getting over the last 4 years, it's ridiculous. While native-born Americans whose ancestors have been in this nation for hundreds of years couldn't get any help. And all of this on the heels of a global pandemic, V-19. People lost their jobs, houses, apartments, and you put mass illegal immigration on top of them. On top of that, when do the native born American citizens get a break? When do we get a help? When do we get a chance to rebound? We didn't.
That those who are undocumented are at risk of deportation, even if they do not have a criminal record.
We spent almost every day this week crying, honestly.
Trump supporters are also saying it's all a part of the administration's plan to send a clear message. These protesters say, message received. Throughout the evening, there were fireworks, motorcycles, and an eventual street takeover. Towards the end of the night, the protest was declared unlawful by police. Despite some escalation on Highland Avenue, their voices were heard loud and clear.
It's going to make a difference. I hope so. If people care, they pay attention, and they see how many people are not okay with what they're doing right now, I would hope so.
In National City, I'm Ava Kirshner, ABC 10 News.
She says she hopes that people will see how people are not okay with what they're doing, but a lot of people are okay with what they're doing. A lot of people voted for this to take place, the mass deportations.
Right here in San Diego, there have been
My only thing I'm saying is that it didn't have to get to this point. This is Reagan's fault. This is George H.W. Bush's fault. This is Clinton's fault. This is George W. Bush's fault. And this is Obama's fault. Even though they call Obama deporter in chief, he deported 425,000 illegal immigrants from all over the world. I don't look at this as a Latino thing. It's not a hatred thing. You are making yourself the face of illegal immigration. But the illegal immigrants that was taken out of Chicago, one was from Thailand and one was from India. And the one from Thailand was a repeat SAer of children. What are you talking about? And you can't just come into someone's country illegally. But it does also take way too long to become a United States citizen. People are paying money for their visa, waiting 7 to 10 years. Yes, that part of the system needs to be fixed. But while it's being fixed, you can't just bogart your way in either. You have to follow the process.
growing number of demonstrations against recent deportation actions taken by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The latest protest happening just this morning, drawing more than 1,000 people downtown. NBC7's MG Perez shows us what happened.
What started with some beeps from a car horn quickly became a bilingual call for unity. And then a loud marching band of demonstrators trudging down Harbor Drive. This grassroots demonstration in front of the San Diego Convention Center was intentionally held at a very public place to be seen and heard.
We're here. We're not here to destroy. We're here to stay, and we deserve to be here. We've been here, taxpayers. We're not criminals, as you want to label us.
These demonstrators came from across the county and beyond to protest the Trump administration's current crackdown on illegal immigration and the president's plans for mass deportation, which have triggered fear and uncertainty. There is the wife with a Mexican husband and children with dual citizenship.
To be on the right side of history and to defend the people that might not be able to defend themselves or are too afraid to defend themselves right now.
These sisters live with memories of their father's deportation when they were just in elementary school. Their mother left with him too.
Having a family member ripped away from you at a young age is just horrible. It's something that nobody deserves to go through.
I think it's more complicated than a solution, but I think we just need to be more welcoming, more open to our brothers, our neighbors, just like it says in the Bible.
In Spanish, many of these demonstrators would say they're using sus gritos, their shouts, to be heard.
Well, that's what they say. But a lot of people don't want to hear their shouts. A lot of people don't agree with their shouts. And again, like I said, American citizens, native born American citizens, whose ancestry has been here for hundreds of years, also deserve help. Also deserve. Why should illegal immigrants get Section 8, a rehabbed house, when there are Black Americans? Black American home ownership is only 44%. We have been locked out of generational wealth. We have been locked out of help. We have been locked out. Redlining in itself did so much damage. We can't get any help. I can't buy a house without a social security number. It's unfair.
Welcome to The Awakening, Black Women United. I am your host, Sherry Danny. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Donald Trump is back in the White House, marking a significant moment in American politics. His victory marks a return to his strong policies, which have always been a cornerstone of his political identity. Trump has a clear vision for America, one that he believes will lead the country to greater heights. He wants major changes, especially on immigration, which has been a hot-button issue for years. Trump wants to limit who can enter the country, focusing on stricter immigration laws and enforcement. He aims to secure the border and reduce illegal immigration, a promise he made during his first campaign. His plans are ambitious and will likely spark debate both in Congress and among the public. But Trump is committed to his vision of a stronger America, undeterred by opposition. Trump's return signals a shift away from the previous administration's policies, aiming for a new direction. He is determined to put his stamp on the country, making significant changes to the current system. His supporters are energized and ready for change, believing in his vision for the future. The world is watching to see how Trump's second term unfolds, with many anticipating major shifts. His actions will have significant consequences both domestically and internationally, shaping the global landscape. Project 2025 is a detailed plan from conservative groups. It outlines a way to shrink the government and change its focus. This plan has become a key guide for Trump's agenda. The project emphasizes reducing regulations and taxes. It aims to empower businesses and limit government intervention. These ideas resonate strongly with Trump's own beliefs. Key figures like Russell Vought and Stephen Miller helped shape Project 2025. They are influential voices in Trump's ear. Their involvement shows the project's impact on Trump's decisions. While Trump doesn't openly advertise Project 2025, his actions speak volumes. His policies closely mirror the project's recommendations. This alignment worries some and excites others as they watch Trump's next moves. Trump is taking aim at the federal workforce. He wants to make it more efficient and accountable. His plan involves reclassifying federal employees, making it easier to dismiss them. Trump believes this will improve performance and reduce government waste. He wants to streamline the system and cut down on bureaucracy. However, these proposed changes are controversial. Federal workers' unions are pushing back. They fear unfair dismissals and a loss of job security. The debate over federal workforce reforms will be heated. Trump is determined to push through his changes, but he faces strong opposition from those who fear the consequences. Section 4, Decentralizing Power, a move away from Washington. Trump wants to shift power away from Washington, D.C., aiming to decentralize the federal government. He proposes relocating federal agencies to different parts of the country, spreading their influence more evenly. This move aims to reduce the influence of lobbyists and entrenched interests that have long dominated the Capitol. Trump believes this will break up the concentration of power in the Capitol, making the government more representative. He wants to empower other regions and bring government closer to the people, fostering local engagement. This idea has generated mixed reactions from the public and political analysts alike. Some praise the potential for cost savings and increased efficiency, seeing it as a way to streamline operations. Others criticize it as disruptive and unnecessary, arguing it could lead to confusion and inefficiency. Trump's willingness to challenge the status quo is clear, as he pushes for significant changes. He is not afraid to shake up the traditional power dynamics in Washington, despite the controversy it stirs. The long-term impact of this decentralization push remains to be seen as the nation watches closely. Section 5. A rocky road ahead. Opposition and obstacles. Trump faces a difficult path ahead, filled with numerous challenges and uncertainties. Implementing his ambitious agenda will require overcoming significant obstacles, both within and outside the political arena. Opposition from Democrats and even some Republicans could hinder his progress, creating a complex political landscape. Senate confirmations for his cabinet appointments will be crucial, as these key positions are essential for executing his policies. With a slim Republican majority, securing these confirmations may prove challenging, requiring strategic negotiations and alliances. Legal challenges are also anticipated, adding another layer of complexity to his administration's efforts. Trump's policies, particularly on immigration, are likely to face lawsuits, which could stall or block their implementation. Trump's border czar says administration will conduct workplace immigration raids. Incoming border czar Tom Homan said Monday that President-elect Trump's administration will crank up workplace raids as part of its broader immigration crackdown. Speaking on Fox and Friends, the former director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, said workplace raids would address labor and sex trafficking. Where do we find most victims of sex trafficking and forced labor trafficking? At work sites, Homan told Steve Doocy. But advocates say that approach is unlikely to help combat trafficking.
Former Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director Tom Homan, who carried out one of the most controversial border policies during Donald Trump's first term, is set to return to the White House. The president-elect announced Homan will serve as border czar, tapped to fulfill Trump's campaign promise of the largest mass deportation in American history. Homan recently spoke with 60 Minutes.
I hear a lot of people say, the talk of a mass deportation is racist. It's threatening to the immigrant community. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. It should be threatening to the illegal immigrant community.
As ICE director, Homan led the zero-tolerance policy that separated parents from their children at the border. The ACLU estimates between 500 and 1,000 families have yet to be reunited. When asked if there's a way to carry out mass deportations without separating families, Homan said this.
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Trump also weighing in on the new Republican-controlled Senate, saying whoever leads it must allow recess appointments. That would give Trump temporary power to fill vacancies without Senate approval. The issue came up in 2014 when the Supreme Court ruled against President Obama's use of recess appointments.
He's conflating the traffickers with the people being trafficked, said Heidi Altman, director of federal advocacy at the National Immigration Law Center. Tom Homan is skilled at using public safety rhetoric to justify vicious tactics that tear families apart. Homan, an early proponent of the zero-tolerance policy that separated more than 4,000 children from their parents in the first Trump administration, said he will prioritize public safety threats and national security threats for deportation as border czar. But Homan said foreign nationals with orders of deportation became a fugitive, suggesting immigrants without criminal records but with final orders of deportation would be high on the list of deportation priorities. Homan told Doocy that the Biden administration has lost over 300,000 children that were smuggled in this country by criminal cartels, a reference to a debunked campaign claim voiced both by Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance regarding a report published by the Homeland Security Office of Inspector General in August. According to the report, 291,000 unaccompanied children had not received a notice to appear in court as of May 2024, and a further 32,000 received a notice but did not appear. Those figures related to nearly 450,000 unaccompanied children released by ICE to the Department of Health and Human Services between October 2018 and September 2023, meaning a number of them were released by the first Trump administration. These legal battles could delay or even derail his plans, making it difficult to achieve his goals. Despite the challenges, Trump remains undeterred, showing resilience in the face of adversity. He is known for his determination and willingness to fight for his agenda, no matter the opposition. The coming years will reveal whether he can overcome the obstacles and deliver on his promises, shaping the future of the nation. This has been.
Well, so far it looks like Trump has been delivering on his promises. Now, I haven't heard him say anything today about what is his view on these mass protests. I haven't heard him say anything about it. I know he did sign some more executive orders. Wait a minute. Let's look at this one. It's getting rough. It's getting rough in these American streets. I'm also hearing that a lot of people are trying to get passports to immigrate. Americans are native-born Americans are trying to get passports to immigrate to other nations in the wake of all of this civil unrest, and that some have even been turned away and have not been able to get a passport. Wonder what's going on there. Uh-oh, what happened? Uh-oh. So I'm back to having technical issues, right? Let's see. Okay. I want to know, why do these people out in the middle of the street with all of this ruckus? It seems to me that a lot of people missed the part where Trump said, if your grandmother was a citizen, then you are a citizen. Instead of being out here in the streets, I would have marched my little happy ass right down to the courthouse got my birth certificate, my mama's birth certificate, my grandmama's birth certificate, and prove that I'm a citizen. If you're actually a citizen, then go prove it.
name, please?
Arturo Gonzalez, official Arturo.
And then how do you spell your last name?
Gonzalez.
So what's going on over here? Why is everyone down here today?
So basically, this is a protest against Trump's executive orders and everything that he's doing in office that is against our rights, against the Constitution. And I just think that a lot of people are using their voices, that immigration people that don't have papers, people that can't be out here. That's why we're here. People that have papers, we're able to come out here, use our voices so that we can raise awareness to the fact that, what ICE is doing, what immigration is doing, what Trump is doing is not right. It's inhumane. And, his wife, she's an immigrant. Elon Musk, he's an immigrant. And it just seems like he's targeting just Latinos. So that's why we're out here. We're out here fighting against Trump's policies.
What's the mood out here right now? You've been out here since what, 3 o'clock?
I've been out here since 3:30, yeah.
What's the mood out here right now? What's everyone thinking?
Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited. Everybody's coming together. There's a lot of joy.
Trump is not targeting only Latinos. 30 African and Caribbean, I believe also 30
with President Trump's
Jamaican
executive orders.
Reaction pouring in on the latest move from the White House.
30 Jamaican immigrants were deported. African immigrants are being deported. As I said, an Indian man and also a man from Thailand were deported in Chicago. They are not just Latinos. And this is what Professor Griff has to say about it, even though I disagree with Professor Griff. Let's take a look.
Peace. What's good, man? All right. This is Professor Griffin, of course. Welcome to the Masters on Black Power Media. Reloaded right here. Hold on. All right. Got that straight. Got that straight. And I got that straight. Shout out to my people in Detroit. I was there over the weekend. I was in South to the last post. Some highs and some lows.
We'll see you all back a little later this hour.
It went back somewhere else. Okay.
With President Trump's executive.
Okay, here we go.
Rounded up and sent about that whole idea because it seemed like to Shields, her win over Danielle Perkins. All right. And shout out to oh man, I wanted to come on and I wanted to talk about Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso a couple of weeks ago. So we're gonna get back around to that show. All right. Hold on. Shout out to my man Guy from Gas Tactical. Try to get our sister on.
Come on, Professor Griff. Jeez.
Let me let y'all know what my unofficial and official position when it comes to Black people in the Black African diaspora. Whether they come from the islands or whether they come from Africa or whether they're in Brazil, wherever they are on the planet. Those are my people. All right. Some of us may not have been born in Africa, but Africa is in all of us. So you're saying we was here prior to Africa. Fine. That's a beautiful thing. Whatever that frequency and that energy is, however you want to use the English language up to twist it, to make it fit your narrative or make it fit how you feel on any given day. That energy and that vibratory frequency runs through my veins. So I am connected to our brothers and sisters on the continent in Burkina Faso. I'm connected to our brothers and sisters in Mali and in Ghana and in Nigeria. All right. I'm connected to my brothers and sisters in South Africa. All right. I'm connected to my brothers and sisters in Brazil. I'm connected to my brothers and sisters in the Caribbean islands, regardless of what island you're on. Hell, you could be on Long Island, Staten Island. Don't make me a damn bit of difference. I'm connected. The same thing that's flowing through your veins is flowing through my veins. I just want to make that clear. On top of that, I'm connected with my brothers and sisters in Mexico. All right? You making fun of our Mexican brothers getting deported and Dominican brothers getting deported and getting rounded up and deported. Our brothers and sisters just in any part of the world in South America, Venezuela, Argentina, and other places. I'm connected. Those are my people. All right? This whole idea of you taking, sticking your chest out because maybe you might have been, you got off the ship before them. But because they made a couple of pit stops and dropped you off a little bit earlier, you now turn around, or even if you made it to America, you now turn around and mock them people, all right? Talking about their plight is none of our business. Well, all of their plights are our business. If we are the mothers and fathers of civilization, then why not have some compassion for our brothers and sisters who just got dropped off? Matter of fact, we was all on the same damn ship and we just got dropped off. Some of us wasn't even on the damn ship. It was already here. I still connect with them, our Morris Science brothers and sisters. All right, the early Native American brothers and sisters that was here. That is our plight. So I'm not going to act like I didn't see them protesting, blocking up the streets when the Grammys was going down. I'm not going to turn a deaf eye, a blind eye to that and a deaf ear to that. So I'm connected to our brothers and sisters. I'm connected to our Mexican brothers and sisters from different parts of the world. All right? We should start showing unity and coming together, because when the smoke clears and the dust settles, we'll see who the real enemy is. You follow what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying.
So that's what Professor Griff has to say about the situation, that he is not for the mass deportations as a Black man, and he is entitled to his opinion. I happen to disagree with Professor Griff, but what I am showing you is that there are Black people who disagree with the mass deportations, and that not all of the deportees are of Latino descent. Not at all.
Three objectives. One, close the border, get it under control.
So now let's look at Dr. Phil's personal experience riding with Tom Homan and see what he saw.
If those 270 people are gone from these communities, how much safer these communities are if those people are gone.
We're focusing on criminals, public safety threats, national security threat first. And those just make sense. They're the biggest dangers to communities. We'll deal with them first.
Hey, Dr. Phil here, and you're listening to the Dr. Phil podcast. Tom Homan, the former ICE director and now President Trump's border czar, is all about transparency and the letter of the law. When they decided to undertake the first large multi-agency operation to identify, target, and arrest dangerous illegal aliens in Chicago, he agreed to allow Merit TV to embed with agents and document factually what was going on. Specifically, how targets were identified, prioritized, approached, and taken into custody. Well, without hesitation, I got on a plane and flew to Chicago. What I witnessed was eye-opening. Here's what happened. Well, we just arrived in Chicago, and I'm getting ready to meet with Tom Homan, and we're going to brief what's happening tomorrow, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, go over all the security protocol, because it's a pretty high-risk mission that we're going on. This truly is a targeted ICE mission, because they're not sweeping neighborhoods like people are trying to imply. I know that because I've been involved in this heading into this. They've identified 270 high-value targets. And what I mean by that is these are known criminals and terrorists. We're talking about murderers, child traffickers, child rapists. We're talking about bad actors, both in the countries they've come from and since they've been here in the United States. Some of these people have 12, 15 arrests, indictments, some convictions in their home countries and here, but yet they're on the streets. And that's who ICE is targeting to bring out of these communities. So we're going after specific targets, not just sweeping neighborhoods. One thing I've learned about Tom Homan since I've come to know him, he is very pro-immigration. He's got some programs that he's working on that are going to be unveiled soon. That are going to really indicate that. But he's got 3 objectives. 1, close the border, get it under control. 2, get the criminals, the dangerous people out of the communities and off the street. And 3, rescue these missing children. There are over 300,000 missing children. Some of them may be with family. That's fine. Let's identify that. Some of them have been trafficked into sweatshops, prostitution, really bad outcomes for these children. So those are the 3 objectives. And this one that we're working on starting in just a few hours is to get these bad actors off the street, these known violent criminals out of the community. How could anybody disagree with that? Well, I'm with Tom Homan in an undisclosed location. I'm going to talk about that.
Right. How could anybody disagree with that? These people are violent criminals. The ones that Trump is targeting first. He did say that there would be collateral damage, that if known criminals are with other people who are illegal aliens, that you will be arrested as well.
President Trump wants.
I can't play the entire video.
Throughout the nation, we're the first. So let's make this the best. I appreciate everybody here. Attorney General?
Yeah, Attorney. Guys, it's a real privilege to be here with you this morning. Honestly, one of the most exciting things.
There's no question about it. When they come out, they should know what his current immigration status is and they arrest him. Yeah. But they're gone from here. There we go. So, from where?
Right here.
No, where is he from?
Oh, believe Cambodia. Where are you from, man? Well, where were you born in? Thailand. Thailand? Yeah.
Okay, prior to deport, sex offender.
Sex offender.
Child or who's got the following?
It was facilitate criminal sex with a child over a computer.
Okay.
Right. This man is not a Latino unless you consider him a Latino because he's from Thailand. He's not from the Philippines. So no, he's not a Latino. Is this mass deportation only targeting Latinos, and should Black Americans get involved? No, Black Americans should not get involved. We should stay out of this the same way that they stay out of our police when we're unalived by the police. I watched a Mexican man in California tell his children, stay out of these N-words business. You children, go home. I'm not getting involved in this. I have enough issues in this nation as a Black American, American descendant of U.S. enslavement. I'm not getting involved in this. I'm going to wait and see what happens. White presidents created this, from Reagan all the way down to biracial Black, white President Obama and Biden. You created this mess and you have to clean it up. You wanted cheap labor. Now you're paying the cost of your cheap labor.
Prior to deport, sex offender, dealing with children. So walking the streets of Chicago. What's your name?
Shada.
What's your name?
Shada. Shada what? You have a person last name. Sam. Shada Sam? Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You've been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
I've been in the system before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charge for it.
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna talk to my lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
Now, how
But you're
is
not?
his mama a citizen? How in the world is his mother a citizen, but he's not a citizen? I call BS. That's not true. If his mother was a citizen, then he would be a citizen. No, he's trying to throw them off his mama's trail because his mama, too, is not a citizen. This is the first time in American history that Americans have gotten to see how our country has just been monetized, commodified, sold all over the world to the highest bidder. Any smuggler, if you got $1,000, $5,000 for any smuggler across the world, you can come into the United States. We don't know who we are on the bus with, the trains with, going to work, coming home. We watched an immigrant set a woman on fire. We watched an illegal set a woman on fire in New York City. Now we see what has been allowed to go on for the last 40 to 50 years.
But you've never been deported before?
We got Dr. Phil. We got Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And never been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Let's take them in and process them, lock them up.
Got it, sir. All right. Is it transport vehicle? Working on it. Okay.
As we were riding around between stops, we listened to some of the narrative about you doing these sweeps, and I can tell you I was not to continue through.
People, this is
some of these symbols.
So when we were riding around today, we were listening. Tom and I were listening in the car to cable news networks talking about how this was just kind of a random sweep, that they were going to schools, they were going into businesses, and what they fear the most. Been arrested for. But you're doing worst first.
Worst first. We're focusing on criminals, public safety threats, national security threat.
Now, let's be clear. They have gone into the schools. They are sweeping schools. They are going to start coming to your churches. All of that. These protests haven't stopped anything. If anything, Trump is probably going to intensify them. And Tom Homan has also said it would be much easier, particularly like a sanctuary city such as Chicago. The Cook County Jail is holding 300 illegal immigrants at Cook County Jail. Okay, there wouldn't have to be as much collateral damage, right, of illegal persons being here, but have not committed extra crimes besides the crime of crossing the border illegally. Maybe they wouldn't have to be swept up as quickly. Maybe they would have time to fight for citizenship if he could just go to Cook County Jail and arrest them. But Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker are blocking this, as well as probably Kathy Hochul of New York State and Eric Adams, who is the mayor of New York City.
Right first. And that just makes sense. They're the biggest danger to the communities. We'll deal with them first.
All right, we're making another arrest right now. This is illegal alien that's been arrested for DUI with a fatality.
Now, this guy is from where?
India.
DUI with a fatality, driving under the influence of some narcotics or alcohol, and hit someone and unalive them. Hit them with his vehicle and unalive them.
India here illegally?
Yeah.
But he's here illegally right now.
Yeah.
He's convicted of DUI with fatality.
Correct.
So the question is, why is he still here?
It's so frustrating. It's unbelievable. And they go to the door and they're on the other side and they know it and they don't open the door because they've been told, don't open the door.
And we got to get these laws fixed so these guys can work.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to do this.
And look at all the people that it takes to do it. Now, nationwide on Sunday, ICE reports making 956 arrests, not just on that day. And in Chicago, they have targeted close to 300 of these violent criminals that I think anybody would agree you don't want in your community.
Anybody would agree these are people that you don't want in your community. So what is the problem? I don't know. I don't know why these people are upset. What's wrong with them? Why would you want violent criminals in your community?
Man, like I've been researching Zodiac 29, and this is exactly what's going on. Only thing this time is the Hispanics versus the blacks, and we don't have that strong black leadership that we had with Harold Washington back then. So y'all are letting the Hispanics do whatever they want to do, keep saying we got to have dignity, but the blacks aren't doing enough in y'all leadership skills. So what's the point of being an alder person if y'all aren't going to be for the community? That makes no sense. Yes, it's starting to become a race war, but at the end of the day, I know who's going to win because we built this. Okay? This is unconstitutional. This is inhumane. And to come here and to continue to see more Hispanics and Latinos get jobs than blacks here is a disrespect. It's a punch in the face. You want us to continue to understand and see the problem, but y'all don't see the problem in the black culture. Black people are the influence. We wouldn't, y'all know, nobody would be here if it wasn't for us. Okay, this is a whole new generation. This social media, this now, like, you're not gonna allow this to happen. And we're not gonna allow this to happen because we're gonna force you to do the right thing. And if not, y'all getting out of here. I was in Georgia when they flipped that state blue for the first time. I will knock on every senior's door and make them hold their vote. This place will flip red. It'll be a historical moment because y'all not paying attention to them anyway. They're getting displaced. Y'all don't care, but y'all trying to find housing for Venezuelans, for Latinos, for all that. Y'all keep sending them over here when they need to go back. Y'all, one time have y'all sent ICE there. ICE need to come. There's prostitution that's behind all of these police districts. I live in Streeterville. It's prostitution right up the street. I mean, it's a disrespect. And y'all continue to allow this to happen. Like Mayor Johnson is the most hated. And he's going to continue to be hated. Only people that like him is teachers and some of y'all. Okay? I'm trying to tell you, my tax money is not going to continue to allow this. Y'all need to find our money. You need to put more things in our neighborhoods. Y'all aren't doing nothing. Small businesses, only thing you're giving it to is Latinos. Nah, it's more than that. This is the most segregated city. And the United States is looking at us. We are not.
Ms. Lee, thank you very much for your comments. However, your time. Zoe Lee.
Man, I'm gonna try not to curse, but y'all, man, like, I've been researching Zodiac 29, and this is exactly what's going on. Only thing this time is the Hispanics versus the blacks. And we don't have that strong black leadership that we had with Harold Washington back then. So y'all are letting the Hispanics do whatever they want to do, keep saying we got to have dignity, but the blacks aren't doing enough in your leadership skills.
So now we see Zoe Lee, Chicago flips red. This is where it came from, where it started from. We see that the black people of Chicago don't want it. We see that the black people of Chicago don't want the sanctuary city. Yet it's being forced down their throat. Brandon Johnson stopped a critical vote from taking place. He stopped democracy when they were trying to have a referendum put on the ballot where the people of Chicago got to vote and say if they wanted a sanctuary city or not. And he stopped that
Immigrants
from
come in,
happening.
watch the benefits they get. They go past black folk at 200 miles an hour, pass them. That's why in all these cities, in Chocolate City, they do better right here.
No. Let's watch what some of the elders have to say about this immigration.
Been reclassified as whites. Even American Indians back in the 1890s became classified as whites. They get a point. That's the second point. They get over black folk in getting access to resources and benefits. The third thing they get the benefits for being put into a minority category. They're classified as minorities over black folk. Thirdly, they come in with a culture that they can establish a culture that they can now build businesses and industries and relate back to their homeland. And lastly, what they can do, they also bring in a religious aspect and business opportunities for their people. Black folk get nothing. Immigrants come in, watch the benefits they get. They go past black folk at 200 miles an hour, pass them. That's why in all these cities, in Chocolate City, they do better right here in Chocolate City. Now they're underneath the immigrants. Immigrants, they come in the country, they get a point over black folk for being an immigrant. Blacks are the only non-immigrant. Two, all of them are classified as whites. The Arabs, Asian, Hispanics, they all been reclassified as whites. Even American Indians back in the 1890s became classified as whites. They get a point. That's the second point. They get over black folk in getting access to resources and benefits. The third thing they get the benefits for being put into a minority category. They're classified as minorities over black folk. Thirdly, they come in with a culture that they can establish a culture that they can now build businesses and industries and relate back to their homeland. And lastly, what they can do, they also bring in a religious aspect and business opportunities for their people. Black folk get nothing. Immigrants come in, watch the benefits they get. They go past black folk at 200 miles an hour, pass them. That's why in all these cities, in Chocolate City, they do better right here in Chocolate City. Now they're underneath the immigrants. Immigrants, they come in the country, they get a point over black folk for being an immigrant. Blacks are the only non-immigrant. Two, all of them are classified as whites. The Arabs, Asian, Hispanics, they all been reclassified as whites. Even American Indians back in the 1890s became classified as whites. They get a point. That's the second point. They get over black folk in getting access to resources and benefits. The third thing they get the benefits for being put into a minority category. They're classified as minorities over black folk. Thirdly, they come in with a culture that they can establish a culture that they can now build businesses and industries and relate back to their homeland. And lastly, what they can do, they also bring in a religious aspect and business opportunities for their people. Black folk get nothing. Immigrants come in.
Oh, I didn't mean
Immigrants
to show
come
that
in,
one. Wait a
watch the
minute.
benefits they get.
And when I hear you black folk talking about fam, you back the good old days when the family was the family. When was that? When was the black family the black family? When white folk could just come in the house and lynch any nigga in the family they wanted, and one of the damn thing you would do was say, well, thank God they didn't get all of us. Was that the family y'all talking about? The family when you could go to World War II and the same German that your daddy can come to America and live and work where your daddy can't work. That's the black family you talking about. You talking about back when the black family was the black family, when black American soldiers was coming back, bringing those Germans to the POW camps, and they'd let them white murdered Germans go into the front of the restaurant and sit down and eat like men, but them niggas had to stand outside and have their food pitched to them. Is that the black family you talking about? Well, God don't never let me go back to them heathens. Never, 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 never. That's the black family. And what white family they talking about? The same white folks that sit around and watch it happen? That's the family? No, you looking at the family now. And when I hear you black folk talking about fam, you back the good old days when the family was the family. When was that? When was the black family the black family? When white folk could just come in the house and lynch any nigga in the family they wanted, and one of the damn thing you would do was say, well, thank God they didn't get all of us. Was that the family y'all talking about? The family when you could go to World War II and the same German that your daddy can come to America and live and work where your daddy can't work. That's the black family you talking about. You talking about back when the black family was the black family, when black American soldiers was coming back, bringing those Germans to the POW camps, and they'd let them white murdered Germans go into the front of the restaurant and sit down and eat like men, but them niggas had to stand outside and have their food pitched to them. Is that the black family you talking about? Well, God don't never let me go back to them heathens. Never, never, never.
Right, absolutely. Dick Gregory got it absolutely on point. And so we got to hear from Dr. Claude Anderson, the Honorable Richard Dick Gregory, about how they felt about immigration, things that have been going on with us in this nation since we have been here, what we have endured, the pain, the pressure, economically being locked out of generational wealth, advancement, redlining. You have to come into someone's country legally. I can't go into someone's country illegally. I can't just break in. They're going to get me out of there with the quickness. And that's how it should be. What is this entitlement that people feel they have to the United States? Who do we blame for this? Someone has to be for blame. Someone has to be for blame. Someone has to be to blame for what has happened.
No other racial group has been a slave on American soil. It's nice to say other people were down and they got up. They were not slaves on American soil. There's been against them, and they've used this to keep him from moving up. In the final analysis, when you say to a man that you are in this position because of your race or because of your color, you say to that man that he can never get out of it. Other racial groups have been able maybe to change the accent or change the names, but the Negro can't. No other racial group has been a slave on American soil. It's nice to say other people were down and they got up. They were not slaves on American soil. The other thing is that the Negro has had high visibility. And because of the prejudices existing in this country, his color has been against him. It's been against him, and they've used this to keep him from moving up. In the final analysis, when you say to a man that you are in this position because of your race or because of your color, you say to that man that he can never get out of it. Other racial groups have been able maybe to change the accent or change the names, but the Negro can't. No other racial group has been a slave on American soil.
And so we have heard from Dr. Claude Anderson, the classics, the most honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who laid down his life so that we could come out of 100 years, or 90 years, I should say, of Jim Crow, an apartheid state, and the Honorable Richard Dick Gregory. We heard from the founding member of Chicago Flips Red. So in my estimation, no. Do Black Americans, ADOS, Americans descendants of slavery, do we hate anyone? No, we don't hate anyone. This is not about hate. Does Trump hate the Latinos? Does Trump hate the illegal immigrants? I don't think so, but I don't know. I'm not in President Trump's head. This is not about hate. This is about every nation, every sovereign nation state has borders, has a immigration process. I'm a descendant of Africa. I can't just go stopping up through Ghana, Benin, and Togo, Nigeria. They're not going to have it. I can't just go to Jamaica or Haiti or St. Lucia. They're not going to have it either. So why does the United States have to have it? And why should American descendants of U.S. enslavement, who to this day, February 2nd, 2025, we have not been made whole, not at all, not economically. And there are things that we can never get back, absolutely never get back, that was broken in the transatlantic slave trade. And we owe no one anything.
And ensuring they have the
I disagree with Professor Griff. I do not owe African immigrants anything, Caribbean immigrants anything, Latino immigrants, Ukrainian, white, European immigrants. I don't owe anyone anything. I am too busy fighting for myself, my family, my children to have food, clothes, shelter, and a moniker of happiness. So maybe some people will see this on the replay, if and when, whatever. Good night.
The resources and support they need to thrive. And finally, global power. Our influence isn't limited to our local communities. We are part of a global network of Black women who are making a difference. By uniting on a global scale, we amplify our voices and our impact. This has been The Awakening, Black Women United. I'm your host, Sherry Danny. Remember to subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Links to our social media listed in the channel bio to Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter. Stay powerful and stay united. Until next time.